Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, the Constant Coast over here.
Gavin Franklin.
Guys, we're here this week to review Old Earth by Nick Kyme.
Mm-hmm.
And Gavin talked about it in the preview. That was really fucking good. Now that I'm done, I can confirm it's really fucking good.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah,
I had a
big
blast
fan.
with it.
Excited to talk about it. Before we get into that, though, Gavin, what are you drinking, good sir?
Sir, I'm drinking the gift you got me, Monkey Shoulder Whiskey, Scotch. I've had it a few times now, but yeah, it's very good. It's not like super smoky, so it's just, yeah, I guess some Scotch is smoky. The one I got you is super
Yeah, the one
smoky.
you got me was super smoky.
This is smooth. Like I've taken it to a couple get-togethers, pass it around. Really like it. Really enjoy it.
Yeah.
How about you, sir?
So, recently on Tacticus, we had someone join us called Brewin Indie. And I was like, hey, do you brew beer in Indy? And he was talking to me. He's like, oh, I used to, but I recommend Oaken Barrel. I actually brewed a beer with those guys. And I was like, I love Oaken Barrel.
Here.
I fucking love that place. So, in the spirit of Oaken Barrel, I got some Oaken Barrel. I have the Raz Wheat.
The Raz Wheat. Oaken Barrel's beers can sometimes be off the wall, and Raz Wheat is one of them. It's like, it's very flavored.
It is. Yeah, it's one of those like fruit beers that I actually like. I think it's solid. It's kind of like shit. What's that other, or like Quafon's like strawberry blonde?
Strawberry blonde, yeah.
Like I kind of put it in like that type of tier where it's like the really good fruit beer.
Yeah. Oaken Barrel's Alabaster beer is like the next level Blue Moon.
It's my fucking favorite.
It's so good. It's like their flagship, amazing beer.
That one's really good. The Indiana Amber is really good.
We really are waiting. If you guys want to give us suggestions on things to buy and drink, because I would absolutely love to try something out that you guys like.
Yeah, too bad
Let
we
us
don't
know.
have like a. Well, first off, it'd be better if we lived near each other. And secondly, had a PO box so people could send us beer if they wanted.
Well, but you still can send suggestions. How would they do that?
You can do that by going to our Twitter. And you know what else you can do on our Twitter? You can find our Discord pin there. So check that out as well. It's a good time. Fridays, we have movie nights. And sometimes on Saturdays, we have hobby time. So our Twitter is at Heresy Lodge. You can always email us the same stuff at theheresylodge@gmail.com. We're on YouTube at The Heresy Lodge. We have merch. I'm wearing my shirt right now. Gavin's wearing his sweatshirt. We have all kinds of shit. Check it out. It's decent quality. Those are all the things.
That's it. Man, I gotta applaud myself. What an amazing ass segue I just did there.
I've never seen someone ready to promote shit like you.
I'm sorry. I'm promoting people to who are already listening.
You're just like next level marketer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I do at work. Just market myself. Because not nearly as good as I think I am.
I understand that. Preach, brother, preach. All right, Gavin.
So
Old Earth.
Oh, it's so good.
It's really good. Like halfway through, I was like, oh, we could like easily like split this book up into like thirds, but you can't really because everything kind of converges together.
Yeah. First off, let's talk about, we talked about this in the prequel, Nick Kyme's writing style. It's such a breath of fresh air. Like,
agreed.
The way he does chapters, he just kind of like, fuck it. I'm going to make a chapter as long as I want to. A lot of times authors get stuck in this trap that a chapter needs to be a certain length and each chapter needs to be consistently the same length. He's like, no, each concept is going to be a chapter. And if the concept takes 2 pages to say, that's it. And it's so nice because it adds really good pacing.
Yeah, which was like a really big problem in the last book. Like you would start reading and then like a random paragraph would happen and you're on a whole different character, a whole different place. And you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh yeah, Ruinstorm.
Yeah.
I was like, what was the last book? Yeah. I was like leaning back, looking at my bookshelf, like, what? Last book. Oh yeah, I try to forget about that one. My mind goes back to Talorn. That's how far away I am.
But yeah, that's
So
very good. The characters, he writes his characters very, very well as well.
yeah,
Very well as well.
I want to talk a little bit about Vulcan's journey. That's the concept of this book. It almost seems like, remember I was talking like it's like the Odyssey. Like he starts off at, it's a journey. Like he's stopping at all these different places that aren't necessarily pertaining to him, but he's like experiencing it and on his way home. Um, and it starts right there in Nocturne. But the biggest thing that like confused the shit out of me, and probably you as well, is like, why didn't he just get the rest of the salamanders?
Yeah. I mean, my guess is maybe it's just too much like logistically to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, we saw at the end of Ruinstorm, Gilliman's like, we can't even get to Terra because they have all these blockades. You know, maybe that's the problem. Um, and at the same time, no traders in this book find out about Vulcan living. So maybe it's also a bit of the surprise factor.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be also like I don't know. I mean, they're like going through the webway and stuff, so maybe it's just
Yeah,
like
like
one of
he
those things.
chose a back door. He
Yeah.
couldn't use the back door with his legion, although the Eldar would probably be scared as shit if like hundreds of salamanders just walked in and were like, "Yeah, fuck your city. We're just gonna blow it up."
This is fucked up.
Yeah. So he chooses this path. He gets with this group of people and they head down into the webway. But the path there is through the volcano, and it's a cool fucking scene. Like I was watching it with a fire going in the apartment. It was just like kind of badass. Like I felt fancy.
And then you have Narek yelling at the volcano. You think you can take me down? Me,
Yeah.
Barutha Narek?
Yeah,
No volcano is stronger than me. It's just like,
Narek,
all
I
right,
just
Narek.
feel like he's so ready to die, dude.
No, he's so ready to kill Lorgar and then die.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like he wanted to kill Lorgar. He starts out with a group of ward bears. Now he's on Nocturne getting attacked by lava every 4 seconds. He's like, fuck it. I'm so far away from my mission. Like, I'm about to fight this mountain. That's how stupid I am. Like that.
It's the only foe I have left.
Yeah, it's like shit. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be killing Lorgar while I'm sitting here on Nocturne. So fuck you, volcano. Um, yeah, Narek gets greeted, and the same person that drives Vulcan to his mission, Narek gets greeted by an old man who's claiming to be Deathfire, which is the mountain. I thought it kind of came out pretty early that this was Eldrad Ulthuan, which
Yeah.
is this is my favorite part of the book, honestly.
Yeah, Eldrad's story was very interesting and it was just fun.
Mhm.
And it did something that's just different than what we've been like stuck reading recently.
What this story did too was like gave a good break, right? It's
Yeah.
what kept it from being an Iron Hands book. Like you're reading
Yeah.
Iron Hands and you're like, okay, this is cool. But I'm starting to get bored. And then it comes like, don't worry, here's Eldrad and Narek. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'm interested again. Like different.
Yeah. I
Um,
do wish that there would have been like more detail and like what they were like what Eldrad's like full plan was, like why he was like focusing on like certain individuals of the Cabal, like why
yeah.
like how he came up, like knew where they were and stuff like that. Now, in the about the author, he talks about there's three other stories that tie in with this book.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we might have more answers when we get to that.
I started reading the next book, which so far is like -10.
Oh boy.
You know what story we're missing?
What story?
A fight at Prospero, obviously.
What?
Oh yeah, we go all the way back to Thousand Suns, like the Battle of Prospero. It's really dumb.
Well, thank God.
Yeah, that's what we were missing. That's what we need now. But anyway, back to this book. Um, yeah, so the story of Eldrad and Narek is a different story than that of Vulkan. So we can tackle that first because it is my favorite part.
One thing I do
Eldrad's
want to say about Shadrach's story is honestly, if you miss Shattered Legions, I hate to say it, but I think you should go back
yeah, it
and
made
read those
Shattered Legions
stories.
better.
I agreed.
There's some stories you could probably skip in Shattered Legions, but definitely the last one where Tybalt Mars like, I gotta go kill Shadrach
Yeah, you can
Medusan.
like skip that. You can skip the ones that are just like salamanders killing each other, or
The one about the one Graham writes about the crew from Angel Exterminatus, not really important to Shadrach's storyline at all.
yeah, the Keys to Hell story. You don't need that. But I had the ones
Garbo.
with Shadrach, like knowing who Shadrach is and like what he did, and finding out like why Og is different plays a
That
pretty
was
big factor
important.
in this book.
Yeah. So back to the Eldrad and Narek story. Eldrad basically goes to Narek and he's like, listen, I need your help to kill things because for some, basically the rest of the Eldar have told Eldrad that, hey, you're alone on this mission because we don't want to get involved in Monkai business.
He's like, "Oh shit! All right,
Yeah, Eldrad has this idea in his mind that humanity is the only way to fight chaos. And the Cabal have the idea in their mind that humanity is the reason for chaos, which is obviously flawed since the
yeah."
Eldar created a chaos
Eldrad even like
god.
talks about that. He's like, "Bro, we fucking made Slanesh. Like, we can't talk that much shit right now."
Like, yeah, Eldrad, no, don't get us wrong. Eldrad's still racist as fuck, but he's like a little bit less racist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's like,
It's like, yeah, this guy's a monkey and I don't respect him, but he's got like, he's all right.
he knows how to shoot a gun. I can use that. So he basically tells Narek's like, why the fuck would I help you? Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, kill me. Kill me.
Come on,
And
pussy.
yeah, Eldred's like, oh, I can let you kill Lorgar. And Narek's like, oh,
Dick's on the inside, baby. Let's go.
dick's on the inside. Let's do it. Guns on the outside. Oh shit. So they basically Eldred's like, what we have to do, I want you to do for me is make sure the Cabal doesn't interfere anymore. And to do that, we just have to kill them. And particularly Eldrad had a little bit of a side requirement is he wanted to find John Grammaticus. We don't know where John is. We just know he woke up and he's no longer perpetual.
Yep.
So throughout the book, we get really fucking cool scenes of Eldrad and Narek just going and murdering Cabal members that we've seen.
Yep.
All really cool.
Yeah, the one with the Kahet where he's fucking there's like some like mind thing happening on top of Narek, and he looks like Eldrad. He's just fucking like climbing a forest. He's just gets up there, just fucking sweaty, like, God damn it. And he's like, oh, you
Yeah.
finally made it. He's like, dude, hold the fuck on. I just climbed a mountain. Jesus Christ.
Nick Kyme, I'm telling you, like he does write comedy well. Like his books are kind of funny because he puts those ridiculous scenarios where like it's Eldrad, you think it's Eldrad walking through the forest, and he's literally talking the whole time. He's like, man, wouldn't it have just been nice if I could have just been dropped off at the top instead of
My
having to
fucking
climb
hearts
these
are
stairs?
pumping right now.
After hours and hours of climbing to the top of this temple, wading through the swampy jungle, like what the fuck? And you can just see too, like at the end, obviously it's not Eldrad, it's Narek. Eldrad pops up behind him.
Yeah, he's probably like, how the fuck did you get up here?
Oh, what the fuck, man? It's like, oh yeah, I teleported. Like you can tell that like he just doesn't give a shit about Narek. He probably finds it so funny.
Yeah,
He's like,
I
yeah.
dropped you at the bottom of the mountain because you're a fucking monk guy.
Why, monk guy?
You're supposed to
Why?
climb, right? Climb, monk guy.
I can
Eric's like,
imagine they're
you
up in the
piece of shit.
spaceship, and Eldrad's like, so we have to climb the stairs for vengeance. And Narek's probably like, oh no, no, no. I don't do that weird space marine shit. Like I I actually think about things logically, and I don't think we need to climb that. And Eldrad's like, damn, okay, I picked the right person. He's not an idiot. He's like, oh, it doesn't allow teleporting. There's psychic shielding. We'd be shot down with planes. And Narek's like, fuck, okay, fine. It's complete joking.
Fucking idiot.
Eldrad just teleports. Yeah. I just wanted you to walk through the slough and climb thousands of stairs. But that's a cool scene because do you see what I'm saying? Where like he's like an old one.
Yeah. Yeah, and even it kind of like hints at it at least.
Yes. And like I said, I think there was some retconning about the old one's lore. Because there's the race called the Slan, and there's some
when you talked about this in the preview, the World Eaters Discord had a trivia, and one of the questions was, what's a common race also known as the Old Ones? And Slan was the answer. It's like, holy shit, I got that because of the podcast.
Yeah. It's a weird one because it's like, yes, it is the Slan. Are we saying that Gehet is an old one? That'd be fucking insane because they're supposed to be like godlike powerful, and the fact that
Eldrad just walks up and slices his fucking head off.
Yeah, it's like, nah, yeah, I don't know about that, considering that the old ones in the current lore created the Eldar, literally.
Yeah.
With their minds and tubes of whatever science. So yeah, I don't know. I think that was an interesting tidbit of lore there. But yeah, Gehet dies. And then there's doing like the scrying waters, or whatever you call it, to look at all of like Gehet had like something up there that allows him to see all of the perpetuals.
Yeah.
And this is what we were talking about. Like, why did Eldrad choose some and not the others? Because he's scrolling through and he sees one of the people he sees is the girl from Vengeful Spirit, the one that's alive currently on a ship somewhere with
one from Vengeful Spirit. Oh, from Malek.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever see her again. But he's trying like filler character. I think I might do something.
Isn't she on the ship with Severin?
Yeah.
Isn't he important now?
I don't know. Do we ever see the Knight Errants again? I don't fucking know. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. It's just like, and now the Grey Knights exist. Like, that's exactly what I expect to happen.
I expect to be like, yeah, we have all these open questions. Hey, where's that person? Hey, where's this person? Like, what's the Siege of Terra is here, and it's the fucking showdown of a century. Buy tickets now for Hell in the Cell. Sanguinius versus Calbunda 2. Horus versus the Emperor. And
Angron being Angron.
For sideshows, we have Jagatai, we have Mortarion.
It's gonna be hell.
Hey, what happened to Severin? That pussy didn't make it.
No, I'm like 98% sure Severin is one of the founders of the Grey Knights. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just never appears again.
That'd be so annoying. Like, they literally are bringing up an old Earth too. Like, they pass her, and then Narek is like, should we kill her? And Eldrad's like, no, not her. She has a purpose. What the fuck is it, Eldrad? What is it, Nick? Tell us what her purpose is.
Nick, if you're listening, you want to come on?
Yeah, Nick, please tell us what her purpose is. So that's an interesting scene. We also get them killing what is the guy's name? He's the leader of the Cabal.
It's like Shah something.
Shadun.
It doesn't matter how we say it, but it's not going to be correct.
We'll go with Shadun. So this was a little bit of a disappointing part of the book, but I
expected him to be like more badass. Even
though but we didn't get to see how badass he was.
Yeah.
First off, he's bathing in blood, which is badass.
He's worshiping.
Yeah, he's worshiping Cain. I bathe in blood every other week. I don't know. I think I can only handle it about that much.
Well, it's expensive.
It's hard to come by nowadays. But yeah, he's got a Harlequin with him.
Mm-hmm.
that's invisible.
Pretty sure sucking his
Eldrad.
dick. I'm pretty sure there was a joke about like getting a Harley Quinn as like a prostitute. Like I swear
Yeah.
there was a joke, and I was like,
There was.
all right.
There was. And then like the Harlequin shows up, like, what is that Harlequin doing there? Why do you have an invisible Harlequin in your bloodbath while you're naked, sir? He's like, I am also not alone. And in his mind, he's like, thank fucking God. So glad I cheated on my Eldar wife this weekend, because I would have been screwed if I didn't have this person
That bitch
around.
is useless.
Listen, I paid you per hour no matter what. You either suck a dick or kill another Eldar.
Doesn't matter which one gets done as long as one of those things is done before the end.
I'm not finished. The Eldrad must be. Jesus Christ. So the unfortunate part is we don't get to see that fight, which like I also kind of like Nick Kyme. I think Nick Kyme has this base understanding where he's like, he's sitting in the room of authors and he's like, guys, people don't really like reading fights. Like, unless there's like a big moment in fights, like fights are kind of like hard to write.
The problem is there's so much plot armor most of the time that it's like, oh wow, I can't believe Horus just survived a shot from a fucking Titan to his face.
Lance from a knight.
Yeah.
Absorb the blow.
It just absorbed it. What's the problem?
I'm built different.
So yeah, I also really like that he didn't like, yeah, like it'd be like really cool to see, but it's one of those things where it's a better visual than a better reading material.
Yes. And like the last thing we want, I really do think, especially between two Eldar, where one of them's a psyker, it's like, how are you going to describe that fight? How are you going to describe his psychic powers? Like, you could do something really cool, but a lot of times it's going to be indescribable, too big, the size
of a galaxy,
of a solar system. But it has a door.
And you can only go through the door.
So they fight them, and then the last scene we get of them really is, and they're basically in like a simulation that John is being stored in, and he's being protected by Daemon.
When it kept going to a farmer, did you expect John or did you expect Ol?
I expected Ol.
He's
the farmer.
Yep.
I thought there was like some sort of flashback, or maybe we saw Ol, or however.
Yeah, it's one of those things like we haven't seen Ol in a while. Like last time we saw him, he was fucking running away from a demon. But I could also see him settling down again. Like, man, I hope they just fucking leave me alone this time.
He like is cutting through the warp. He just gets to like a piece of farmland. He's like, I'll stay here.
This is my place.
Yeah. So, we get this crazy cool battle between Narek and Daemon. And what I love about
not even just this Narek and Daemon, it was also Daemon and Eldrad.
And Daemon was kicking Eldrad's ass. He was
fucking Eldrad up. He got him in like, I really liked how like they described it. Like he like got him into like his fucking barn, and he's like
with the chains coming from the roof.
And he's like projecting his voice in places, and he like just like drops down out of fucking nowhere. It's like, oh man, this is fucking sick.
Daemon is a badass. And like, let's talk about another thing that I think Nick did very good in this book. When he described Narek and the way they used Narek, he did a good job making Narek seem like a brute. We know Narek's not a brute. He's an assassin. When it comes to other space marines, like he's nimble. He does what he does secretively.
Just doesn't like climbing mountains.
He does not like climbing mountains.
He has not worked on his cardio.
In the context of Eldrad and in the context of Daemon, Narek comes through and he's like a hulking monster, and he just kind of beats the shit out of Daemon.
Yeah, it almost made him like too big, because like one point he just grabs him and just fucking slings his ass across the barn.
But you got to think about it, right?
Damn.
We're so used to Space Marine versus Space Marine combat. We're literally talking about what happens when a Space Marine fights a regular human, and that's it right there.
It is true. It's always so hard to like, because I just imagine them being like I don't know how tall they actually are. I'm like, they're like 7 feet tall. Like they're just like really like an NBA player.
Yeah, but when they have their armor servos and everything, it's like I just think Nick Kyme does a good job making that power difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he just chucks his ass through the barn wall and just
yeah,
get the fuck out of here like a gnat.
yeah. And then yeah, exactly. And you compare it to like books like Pharaohs, where you have humans taking out Marines, which I think is good because they can, but it's cool
Yeah,
to
but it
see
wasn't
Narek
just
just
like one, it was like a group against a
and
one.
they had heavy bolters that
Yes.
were like mounted. Yeah. So then I think another thing that happens where I'm like, Nick Kyme fucking knocked this part out of the park. Damon dies.
Yeah. Like dies.
Yeah, so they have this is fucking cool. The fact that Eldrad basically took all of these shards that can kill perpetuals, turn them into bullets.
Did Eldred do it or did Narek do it?
One of the two, but regardless, they
I
turned
feel
them into
like
bullets.
Narek came up with the idea. And
Just
Vulkan
fucking
lives.
yeah, just fucking shot Damon. And it was like a moment. I was like, oh my god, Damon's a really badass character. Fucking big moment.
Yeah, he's just gone. And
And
like
there are
they're
few of
talking
these.
to John, and John's like, "Holy fuck,
Did you
that is."
really have to kill him?
Yeah,
And
they're like,
now
"Eh."
Java's like, yeah. I mean, it's Damon. Like, what do you think was gonna happen if we left him alive? And John's like, yeah.
The interesting thing about Damon too is like, so when we met him, he's a very cocky guy, but he's like all about like his orders, and that comes into play here because I mean, his boss is dead. He's like, well, his last order still in effect, so I gotta kill you,
Damon,
dude.
yeah. Damon was too loyal. I mean, Eldrad was like, what do you want? Like, what is it you want? Your boss is dead. Like, can I get that for you? Like, you want the humans to live? Like, I got that. And Damon's like, sorry, it's not about what I want. It's my orders. And I wonder, I really do wonder that if it was revealed that Narek could kill him, if Damon would have been like, okay, different.
Yeah, no, this is fine.
Oh, all right, all right.
Yeah,
So
me, you, John, let's go.
so it is revealed that Eldrad is wanting to find all. And that's why he rescued John. So all is going to play a big role here. I'm super pumped. I hope all I would be so fucking mad if all didn't show up at all during the siege. I'd be like, what
Oh
the
yeah.
fuck is this? I would give the entire series -1 letter grade.
I mean, from everything, I think he ends up on the Vengeful Spirit at some point because he
That
kept
would
having that fucking dream or whatever.
that would be cool. You know, there's a lot. I hope he plays a big role. There's obviously in
So I think
the
he sees Sanguinius die. I think like that was like one of his visions. He saw Sanguinius get killed by Horus.
well, there's like a in the original text, and of course none of this
In
is
the
canon.
original
Yeah.
Ten Commandments.
Well, it was like the first edition. They talked about
Yeah.
all this lore comes from originally
Yeah.
game codexes, and they released that lore. And basically, what happens on the Vengeful Spirit is the Emperor is about to die, but somebody, Trooper Pearson, is their name, sacrifices themselves for the Emperor. However, there's been some interesting debate about whether or not this is actually what happens. And I love this like convolution around that moment, right? Because there has been revealed that I haven't read this part of the siege. I don't want to like spoil anything in the siege, but there is incidents in the siege where it kind of reminds you that all of this is supposed to kind of be written by remembrancers, right?
Yeah.
And the sense that maybe there's a couple things that happen in the siege that remembrancers or people may record that aren't exactly what happened.
True. It's fucking propaganda. That's some next level shit.
Yeah. And so like there's definitely some scenes, or maybe a scene with a different Trooper Pearson, maybe. That's not all.
Interesting.
And so it kind of like puts you into this like level where it's like, was that actually, did this person like write this and throughout 10,000 years, it just kind of change, like a story changes, you know what I mean? Like the fish gets bigger. So I think they do some stuff like that, and there's a lot of convolution around what happens at the end. So I hope we see all Pearson. I'd be pissed if we don't.
Yeah, same.
I think we actually see him in the next book. I think there's a short story about him.
Same. Cool. So I think that wraps up for what we should talk about with Eldrad.
Well, Narek, the very end, he's like, okay, you owe me your piece of the bargain. So the last scene we get in the book is Narek does wake up and he's with some word bearers.
Yep. And they're like, oh, you're from the
man.
word. Great. Let's go see Lorgar. He's like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Yeah, let's go see that guy.
Narek's like, for the word. Love the word. I'm going to get so close to the word. I'm feeling the word flow through me. Demons love that shit.
He's a perfect word bearer because word bearers love killing word bearers.
He would just like shoot someone in front of Lorgar. Oh my god, what was that? Is that not what we do?
I don't.
Oh yeah,
that was a sacrifice, right?
I'm thinning the veil. Bam, bam.
Yeah, for chaos or something.
Lorgar's like, man, this guy really knows his shit.
Eric's like, why do they keep promoting me? I keep trying to kill Lorgar. They think I'm summoning a demon every time.
In the veil, you're doing it, man. So yeah, that's that story. Vulkan on his journey, the first place he enters is the Dark Eldar. This was actually really cool. It wasn't as eventful as I wanted it to be, and it was a little wonky, like the scenes.
Yeah, I almost wonder if like some of this might be in like a short story, because like he knows who the like main Dark Eldar is there. Like he knows its name. They have a history together. Like I would like to read that story.
Yeah, because it's revealed that the Dark Eldar were raiding Nocturne before it was discovered by the Emperor, and Vulkan, in defiance of this, led a rebellion into the Webway to fight the Dark Eldar.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that is pretty nuts. It didn't go well.
No, it didn't.
Everyone died but Vulkan, and so it was kind of cool to read about that. I would like to see that. Vulkan does beat the shit out of the lead Dark Eldar. Yeah, but it wasn't like, it was close. Like it wasn't like a super one-sided thing. So whoever this was clearly a badass.
Yep.
There's some weird like shenanigans. It's a little warpy. The city was like moving.
Yeah, there's weird mist that we're hiding the Dark Eldar in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool.
So they make it through though, and then they arrive with Shadrach. So this is where Shadrach picks up.
Yeah, and at this point, Shadrach's great, but man, he is just getting fucked all the time by everyone around him. Yeah. And they are, well, when Vulkan shows up, they're at a battle.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's going fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like they won. And then fucking Vulkan shows up and they're like, hey, like we got the Primarch. Can you please like get us? And Neuros, who is one of the salamanders with Shadrach, is like, oh my god. It's the what do they call them? The Unborn Flame.
Yeah, the Undying Flame.
Undying Flame, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And they're like looking at him like, what the fuck does that mean? He's like, it's the Primarch.
Yeah. So you Vulkan shows up to Shadrach at a really weird time. Shadrach had just raided a planet, found some like plans at a base there from, it was a Sons of Horus base. So he finds plans where they see like, it's like a
trade routes or something.
Trade routes. And there's a group of trader ships that Shadrach wants to hit and destroy. But none of the other Iron Hands or Iron Fathers, right, want to support that because they're concerned if they get together in two larger groups, then they die, which is fucking stupid, by the way. Like, that is so anti-Iron Hand.
Yeah, a lot of like the things they do are very anti-Iron Hand. Like, we started liking Shadrach because like he was smart,
Yeah.
But it was still like an Iron Hand. Like he was still very like, all right, like we
Yeah.
should go in and kill everything. And then this, like everyone else is just like they're more like a Raven Guard than they are Iron Hands.
Yes.
And it's weird because they fucking really don't even like either of the other legions.
Yeah, most of the Iron Fathers don't respect the other two legions that are there. Shadrach does, but there's just a lot of like Shadrach wants to rebuild the legion. He wants like the 10th needs a thing to do. And the Iron Fathers like, oh, is it gonna be you? Are you gonna rebuild the legion, Shadrach? Like they're being bitches about it.
Yeah,
And
and he's like,
Shadrach's
I'm fucking trying. Like, I don't have to be the
yeah,
leader, but I'm the only one that's fucking doing anything.
yeah, yeah. I don't want to be the leader, but like, what are you guys gonna do? And so it's a weird dynamic because there is not really necessarily a right or wrong here, I think, because the Iron Fathers are right. It's very dangerous to group together and they get annihilated a lot faster that way. But at the same time, they're also wrong because they're weird as fuck.
They also like aren't doing anything.
Yeah, they're just chilling.
And also, I don't understand why they hate that Shadrach is Terran so much. Because I got a fucking newsflash. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Tell me.
Ferrus Manus is not from Medusa. Holy shit.
What?
Crazy shit. If anything, you think the Terran would make more sense.
Yeah, the Iron Hands are also racist. There's a lot of racism going on in this book. So, we get revealed that Og, who is Medusa's second in command, we already knew this previously. He's kind of acting against Medusa. He's working with the other Iron Fathers, but we get revealed that the other Iron Fathers are also listening to what they believe is their Primarch.
So this was weird. So Vulkan is listening to a call that's happening with Shadrach and the other Iron Fathers. And like, we ought to listen to the Gorgon.
The
Shadrach,
Gorgon.
Shadrach's like, what the fuck does that mean?
What's that even mean, bro?
He's dead.
What the
And
fuck does that
Vulcan's
even
also
mean,
like,
Kobe Bryant?
what the fuck does this mean? Like, he's literally, I guess, I went through a fucking crazy mind trip and in Kurz' lair. I think the dude's dead.
There's literally a
Well, let me
moment where
check.
Vulcan is like looking around. He's like, "Oh my fucking god, is Kurz still here?" Vulcan is like, "Am I still in the space?" Like he's slapping
Son
people.
of a
Are
bitch.
you alive? Am I crazy?
Okay,
so
it's a real deja vu right now.
let me retrace my steps. I was on a ship being tortured. I got burned alive. I was fighting on the crag, and then I woke up from a volcano. Holy fuck, I'm crazy.
Yep, I'm dead. I'm still dead.
Holy
this is
shit.
definitely Kurz's lair still.
Yeah, there's some weird shit going on here. It's not adding up. So Vulcan is like, we need to see what they keep talking about. So they go and have a meeting. Shadrach is basically leveraging Vulcan as a political figure. Vulcan does talk about, or at least that Nick reveals that Vulcan doesn't like being a political figure, which I get, but also like
Free soldiers, bro. Take them to Terra. I'm sure if you showed up with more soldiers, Dorn would have been like, oh, thank God. Fuck, the Iron Hands?
yeah.
I already
That's
sent
a
them
good
away
point.
for a reason. They have like a code word. Just don't say that out loud.
Like Vulcan shows up and Dorn's like, hey, 3? What the fuck?
Yeah, why is there only like 3 of your legionnaires? Like,
Yeah.
we need more guns, Vulcan. Like, yeah, you're cool, but you don't have
Yo,
any guns.
You brought a hammer? Oh, fuck you, man. We'll get to that when we get there because there's a couple other things that I think is interesting about their reunion. But Vulcan is really curious about who this Gorgon is. So they have a clan meeting. Og shows up. I call it a clan meeting. It's kind of like a clan. They are the clans,
Honestly,
right?
yeah.
They had a clan meeting, a little clan barbecue. And they showed up and Vulcan's like, hey, why do you keep saying by the Gorgon's will or whatnot? And that's when they
Wheel.
revealed by the Gorgon's wheel. Gorgonzola cheese wheel.
That the whole time they were worshiping a giant thing of cheese. And you know what? That's a little bit more believable than what the fuck they had going.
So they bring out what is like a hand. It's Ferris Mantis's hand attached to a robotic body. And let me tell you, the only thing I'm glad
Covered
about
in a fucking like cloth. Like all you can see is the hand. Like every now and again, it like a twitch, but it was also missing a finger. And I was just like, okay.
well, interesting fact. You know where that finger is?
Is it a Fulcrum's bum?
Oh, it's like I got this finger. This finger. I imagine him walking around this band, picking up Ferris's hand, and the word bears like, "Oh, we want that," And Fulcrum's like, "Yeah, you can have it."
But this will do.
Hands they're pretty thick. Fingers, like his fingers
pretty hard too.
They're pretty nice. It kind of
take
moves.
one of these.
It's constantly vibrating. I think we're missing out on an opportunity. Let me just. Okay, here's the rest of it.
Yeah, here you guys go.
So this was his finger was given to. It ended up by some word bearers. If you remember Deathfire, the word bearer was supposed to use it to cut the fulgurite out of
yeah,
Vulcan's chest. So the Iron Hands got a hold of the other part of the hand.
Of course, the word bearers only took a finger and like, fuck, we should have brought the whole hand. We can't grab it.
So, what if we just did one of these? No, we must make it into a perfect
dig it out.
Son of a bitch!
This isn't a lock. All right, I can't just shove it in there and try to unlock the door.
Nice
jammed in.
Big knife, at least. Get around there.
I need a lever.
What is that? What is that from? Is it from a movie? Oh, is it Talladega Nights where he like stabs himself in the leg? And they're like trying to cut around it to get it out.
You don't think I can walk? I can't fucking walk. Let me show you.
You're trying to cut around the meat.
I can't feel my legs.
So Vulcan destroys this and then crushes the hand, which I love because it puts to death the idea that Ferris Mantis is his hands. That was like what was that? It was a what do you call that?
Symbolism?
No, not symbolism. It's like fan fiction. The fan fiction. Fan theory. We're like, what if Ferris Mantis is alive? Because Ferris Mantis is his hands. It's like, well, now he's still dead.
No, man, there's still some metal still there. So, like, what if it pulled together? And then over the last 10,000 years, it's been growing.
That's when all the Iron Fathers and Og are like, okay, we fucked up. We're going to follow Shadrach. And Shadrach asked Vulcan for help in the last battle. Vulcan's like, I can like pop in for a minute, but I got to go early. He gave him the old like party trick. He's like, well, I got the dogs at home. I can only stay for a little bit.
But his entrance is fucking sweet.
Yeah, so they go and do a bunch of fighting. Shadrach's blowing up some ships. He's fighting against Tybalt Mar. Turns out this whole thing was a trap. Who would have thought? The Iron Fathers did actually.
Yeah, they actually did. So this is the one like thing. So there's a lot of talking about like how Shadrach is like super sleep deprived, and like he's like kind of going a little crazy.
Yeah,
and it's just like kind of just like going through a spree of just bad decisions.
Yeah.
And then you have Og.
They are bad.
Yeah, they are bad. And Og is like trying to be like super what's the word I'm looking for? Not tactical.
Okay.
But
tactful.
Yeah, like he is very smart about everything. He's like, look, like this is a bad idea. Like at one point, like they're like retreating, and he's like, why don't we just like shoot him? He's like, no, we must get fucking closer. I'm gonna board him. He's like, we got guns.
We
You know that, right?
We got guns on the outside, Shadrach. Because that's where they go. We can't grow them like the enemy, but we got them. So yeah, basically throughout this battle, it's a pretty big nail biter. He does the whole Tyrion Lannister thing where he sends out like a ship, but it's rigged with bombs, blows up a
That
bunch
was
of other
fucking
ships.
awesome. There's also another scene. Oh, I think it's during this where I think Newman, not Newman. Yeah, it's Newman.
Neuros.
Yeah, Neuros kills somebody and he's like, Vulkan sends his regards. I was like, ooh, Game of Thrones.
It's not Vulkan lives anymore. Thank God. Like once they found out he's alive, they're like, well, now that everyone knows, it's not that cool to say.
I need a new catchphrase.
So, in this battle, it goes back and forth, but you have Neuros, you have another Iron Hand that's really close to Shadrach, and they're boarding a ship and they get attacked by dreadnoughts. They're about to die. Vulkan just drops in, bodies the dreadnought, just demolishes shit. Like basically sends them flying into the door. They get through the door. Vulkan's like, hey, this ship is fucked up. There's like blood all over the ground. Like people killed themselves and painted with their blood. It smells really bad. Vulkan's like, I'd fucking burn this ship alive. I'd get out of here. And the Iron Hand's like, well, Shadrach wanted us to use it.
Guns on the outside.
Vulkan's like, no. There's guns on the inside here.
There's definitely dicks on the inside of there.
Yeah, there's dicks everywhere. Watch out. There's some Slanesh dicks flying around. And anyway, he was like, yeah, Shadrach wants us to use it. And Vulkan's just like, okay, see ya.
He just teleports.
He kind of has this moment
his
where
hammer down.
He's like, your funeral, bitch. And just leaves.
A bunch of fucking idiots. Should have
listened. He's like, I told him, like he's being a real diva. He's like, listen, I told him. So they get out of there. And then, of course, they use warp magic to attack the ship and take it back over.
Yeah, the fucking Abaddon's group.
Terminators.
Yeah.
Just the cars.
Yeah.
They teleport using the blood. Murder a bunch of people. And then that ship murders another ship. And all of a sudden, and then it grows a gun. And all of a sudden, Shadrach's like, shit, you know what? Let's just go balls to the wall. Like, I'm boarding torpedoes. Let's go.
We need revenge.
Yeah, Og's like, that's a bad idea. We're all about to die. Shadrach's like, we're going. Shadrach gets in the first boarding torpedo, launches it. Big moment in the book. Og's like, cancel boarding torpedo 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Calls up the Iron Fire's like, yeah, he's gone. Let's get the fuck out of here.
But actually, like,
that is literally what happened.
Where Shadrach is on the ship, he's like, oh, send the reinforcements. He's like, okay. Just like hangs response. Up.
No response. And I was like, where's everyone at? Or Shadrach's on the ship, like, where is everyone?
Yeah, and this is one moment, like they get like a map and everything, like they're like going through, and it's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
I've been betrayed.
Yeah, all the Iron Fires are like, sorry, we're gonna leave now. Crazy moment. Brings up the topic and something I think is really worth discussing. Are the Iron Hands a traitor legion?
I mean, they aren't doing anything for the Imperium.
Yeah, and like they betrayed their war leader. Did they betray the Imperium? I mean, they betrayed Imperial soldiers, literally. They betrayed other Iron Hands. If we look to, we only have 3 groups of Iron Hands. Well, really 4 groups of Iron Hands that we have read about out there doing stuff. The first one is the one that is Graham's group. And so far we know they're good. You've been killing traitors, like, nice job. The second group we know are the ones that are doing the Keys of Hell shit where they're
The zombies.
Yeah, I specifically remember them talking about Ferris Manus saying, that's a no-go. And they were like, fuck Ferris Manus. Kind of seems like a traitor thing to do.
Yeah.
The second group of Iron Hand, or the third group of Iron Hands, is the group that was in this book. It talks very briefly about one of the Iron Fathers, and all the Iron Hands were like, "Yeah, fuck that guy. He kills other Iron Hands."
Yeah. Rack,
And
I
then he
think is
just,
his name.
yeah, he bails halfway through. I'm like, well, that seems like a very big traitor move.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, why haven't they tried to go to Terra?
Yeah,
Like,
and then
even like Vulkan was like, "Yeah, I'm going to Terra," and Shadrach was like, "Huh? Like, can we get with you?" He's like, "Nah, I
all
don't
I'm
need
saying,
Iron Hands with me."
if you look at the span of this, like, which Legion betrayed the Imperium more? Is it the Iron Hands or the Thousand Sons? I mean, the Thousand Sons broke a rule. The Iron Hands broke a lot of rules.
The Thousand Sons also broke the webway, blew up
Because of
several
breaking a rule
cities on Earth.
accidentally, right? But like the Iron Hands are doing their shit intentionally. Like imagine that like becoming a zombie eventually has bad things happen. That like you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I just feel like the Iron Hands are vaguely traitors. Like they kind of are. Them and the Dark Angels are like right on the borderline of you're kind of a
Well, Dark
traitor legion,
Angels are
dude.
straight up traitor legions. Like, even the Fallen's like, fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
And then the line's like, fuck everyone else. Like, I got this cool teleported thing I can't tell anyone about.
I'm not telling
I'm
it.
not even
I'm
gonna
gonna
use it.
use I'm gonna use Xenos chaos technology. The second I get to McCrack, I'm gonna propose dropping some bombs on them cities.
No, just anyone. I was like, I'm gonna drop like Phosphix. I want them to suffer.
It sounds I'm having a really boring weekend. Let's kill some civilians. Like, yes, Dark Angels, kind of traitors. Iron Hands, kind of traitors. Like, were they before Ferris Manus died? Absolutely not. But after Ferris Manus died, like the individual cells kind of killed other Space Marines. They kind of killed betrayed Space Marines. They
I will
betrayed
say
their
one thing I really don't like, and I'm sure Nick only did this because like there has to be a purpose for fucking Manus. But like the fact that Manus was like Eldrad's first choice to like save the Imperium.
Mhm.
Why?
Well, I think the concept behind that is probably because Manus was supposed to be like the second War Master. My first choice would have been Sanguinius. But I don't
Literally,
know.
there's like 5 people I would put above Manus.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the Eldar knew them well. I don't think that Eldrad was like having lunch with the
Eldrad saw
Primarchs every other
the
weekend.
Fates.
Yeah, and the Fates said Ferris, I'm sure like if he
Zinch is
knew
like, what a
Ferris,
fucking idiot.
yeah, I'm sure if like Eldrad knew Ferris Manus, he'd be like, that's a fucking lie. That's not the string I need to follow. So he first went to Ferris, then he
Also,
went
I
to
didn't realize.
Fulgrim.
I thought it was someone else that saw Manus, not Ulf.
So it was Eldrad, and interestingly enough, it mentions he's the person in the Soul Stone that he has. That's his like mentor, and Ferris Manus killed him. That's why he's in the Soul Stone.
Right.
So those two, if you remember back in that story, the Gorgon, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Those two were the Eldar that talked to him. Eldrad was like the apprentice at that point. So yeah,
And then Eldred's like, I'll talk to Fulgrim. And he's like, well, shit, that didn't go right either.
Oh my god. He had all
Third
kinds of
time's the
shit up his
charm.
ass. So yeah, I think that whole Iron Hands being a traitor legion, like the proof is in the pudding. Like, I'm sorry, like every single cell that we've seen of Iron Hands, other than one, has kind of betrayed other loyalist Space Marines or betrayed the Emperor's wishes or betrayed Ferris Manus's wishes. Like they're kind of doing some real traitor shady shit. So not a big fan of the Iron Hands. They would probably be the last group I put together. in the tabletop. They're supposed to be really good now.
Yeah, it's because
In the
they're all
Devastator
fucking.
Doctrine.
Man, I hate the fucking Iron Hands. They're so stupid.
Yeah. So the ending to Shadrach's story, though, is a big bombshell. So Shadrach, this was one of my favorite parts of the book. Nick Kyme just did this so well, in my opinion. Shadrach's trapped on this ship, and Shadrach was introduced in Shattered Legions not too long ago. So he's trapped on the ship. He's being surrounded. I'm like, surely Vulkan's going to pop up. Something's going to happen. Shadrach has a role to play. He's important. And then he gets captured, and it's him and his friend. His friend gets killed. I'm like, okay, Shadrach's going to break out. He's going to fight Tybalt. He's going to kill Tybalt Mars. Tybalt Mars the bad guy. Tybalt Mars like, listen, I don't really give a fuck about you. I just want to make sure you're Shadrach so I can go back to Horus and be like, I did it.
Yeah,
And
actually,
it was exactly what he said. It was really
it's not even
badass
Horus.
moment.
It's one of the
Abaddon.
no, it
Oh
wasn't
no, it was
Abaddon.
Nocturne or whatever his name
Yeah, whoever
is.
the newest fucking
Nocturna.
whatchamacallit is, Mournival.
Yeah. The one that was like, nah, Shadrach's not a fucking threat. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then he cuts Shadrach's head off.
Like
Wow.
as Shadrach just like bitching, and he's like, all right, I'm done listening. Just cuts his head
Mid
off.
sentence. Wow.
It was awesome.
It was great. Like I put the book down. I was like, it was just like expectation, right? Like I think this book was so great for me because we've had so much expectation of like the hero will find a way. There's so much plot armor, yada yada yada. So when he was on that ship, I was like, something's gonna happen. Like he's gonna be fine. Like
Now,
someone's
I
gonna come
think the
through.
only reason you thought like that though is because you read Shattered Legions. I think if you only read this book, you'd be like,
He'd be that
"Eh."
character.
Yeah, it's that one character that gets introduced to die. Whereas
That's a good point.
we read Shattered Legion, so we're like, okay, this character's been like hyped up, like he's done like all these things for the 10th Legion.
Yeah. It was a bit of a bombshell for me when it dropped because I was like, wow, Shadrach's dead. And then we get the scene where
And
like
it wasn't even like it was like a heroic death or anything. It was just like it was an execution.
Yeah. We get the scene too. We're back on Shadrach's flagship. You have the apothecary. He's running to go to Og to be like, what is this? What is this traitor? Yada, yada, yada. This is some traitor stuff because it is traitor stuff.
Yeah.
It's literally like
he's trying to get on the ship.
Yeah, it's like Isfan level betrayal is what's happening. And Og's like, sorry, I'm not going to let you go. And he not only kills him, but he kills multiple people that were in support of Shadrach. This is literally Isfan 3.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
If you think about it like that, they are traitors. Like if you consider the traitor point to be Isfan 3, then yeah, I would say that cell of Iron Hands is a traitor legion. All those Iron Fathers, a majority of the Iron Hands out there. So,
yeah, and you're right. That's no different than Isfan 3.
Yeah, they literally just were like, we're going to make sure these people die so that they follow the new order, what we expect. So, really cool moment there, but just gave me the chills a little bit. Back to Vulkan's story, though, he makes it out. He goes through the webway.
He said, fuck that shit.
Yeah, arrives on. He's like, yeah, that dude is dead as fuck. Called that a mile away. He arrives on the same planet we got from Gorgon, the book Gorgon.
Yeah, so the crazy thing about, so if you never read that short story, him, Manus, and who was the other Primarch that was there? Mortarion?
Mm-hmm.
They were like sent to like break up a bunch of planets. And
Eldar particularly were the enemy there.
Yep. And Manus was like having a fuck ton of problems doing his, which surprise, surprise.
Yeah, he was treating his people like shit.
Yeah. But you find out that there is a webway gate. And that's what Vulkan is going for.
And the Eldar there, just let them go. Because they're like, Eldrad said you can go, but fuck you, monkey.
Yeah, exactly what he said.
and Vulkan said, say fuck you again, and I'll kill you for fun. And the guy's like, and then walks away.
He's like, Vulkan's like, fuck you.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because like you expect Vulkan. Like Vulkan's still a Primarch. He's still for the Imperium. He's still anti-Xenos. I mean, the Eldar were raiding his planet for a while. He killed all our children for fun, clearly. But you know,
Burn them bitches.
you're expecting Vulcan to be like a good guy in this situation, be smart about it, but like and just be like, okay, this guy's taunting me, but he's letting me through the webway. No, Vulcan's not having that shit. I was like, you're not talking to me like that, motherfucker.
I mean, when you're
Let's
someone
do
that's
it.
always been respected and someone disrespects you, like that's what you do, right?
You got to put it on the table. You got to bring that dick out, let it hit.
Yep.
Dick's on the outside this time.
Vulcan's a shower, not a grower.
Absolutely. So he makes it. Jesus Christ, I'm thinking about Vulcan's dick.
You're welcome.
He makes it through the webway, ends up literally the exact same time as Master of Mankind.
Yeah,
The
which was
demon,
fucking awesome.
it was really cool. He gets surrounded by a bunch of demons in the unnamed or impossible city. Does a cool little Fulgurite smash demon cleansing.
Did he like just like jump like 1,000 feet in the air and like land on top of these stairs?
No.
That's what it sounded like. He jumped and now he's at the altar. I was like, oh, okay.
I don't think it was like super high. I think like the thing was he had the Fulgurite, it smashed and it like blind killed all the demons.
Well,
But
I mean, before that, like when he got up the stairs, he was like, they like saw demons and he just like fucking jumped. And then he was like really far away from the other side. Like, holy fuck, look at him go. Maybe we are good guys.
This guy can jump. So he got over there, killed the demons. A really cool description. They're like, looks like the Custodes fought here, like really crazy. There was a lot of like
Sisters of Silence, like all the like broken down Titans and Knights and shit.
There was a lot of it looked like pushing for like Korn, trying to anger them. Like he was like, control your anger. Like they're trying to turn us, basically. And then you get this fight between him as he goes. He sees the passageway. He sees the Emperor, the Custodes' final stand. They're about to end it. And then he gets him confronted by a great unclean one, which like awesome. I said, it was awesome. So like I said, a little forced. It was not needed in the story at all.
Yeah.
But Nick Kyme was like, all right, if I have to do a fight, we're going to make it short. It was a short fight. And it was cool as shit.
Yeah, it was really good.
My face, so like basically the flies block everyone out. It's just a great unclean one and Vulcan fighting. And the way the fight went down was just awesome.
Yeah, fucking like disease is spreading and shit. The fucking thing's just like mocking him. At one point, like he gets like stabbed and it's just like fucking like throwing up and like shit's getting all infected and stuff. And it was fucking cool. And he eats the fucking thing, eats Vulcan.
That's the coolest part. Literally, he just eats Vulcan. Like he puts Vulcan in his mouth like some major vor porn, dude. Like it was happening, like all the way down. The coolest part was like Vulcan is emerging on the other side. I don't know if you noticed that. He was emerging in the garden. Like he said, there was a garden. So he was emerging, like getting consumed to be like in the garden of Nurgle. Like he wasn't eating him, like he was transferring him to the chaos realm, which was nuts. Vulcan lights his insides on fire. Very salamander thing to do.
Yep.
And then beats the great unclean one. And now he's like, which is the first great unclean one we've seen. Really badass fight. Like just the idea of him swallowing Vulcan, super cool.
Yeah, and the way that Nick fucking like described like his looks is like exactly how he looked on the tabletop, and I was like, oh fuck, this is awesome.
This is good. So
pulling the sword out of his fucking gut.
Yeah, to use is so good. So they had at this point, after the Great One, Clean One's like done, tons of demons are surrounding him. Eldrad shows up, fucks those demons up, and it's like, you can't go that way. Let me send you another way.
That way is not
safe. Teleports him just in Terra around a bunch of people. There's a lot of like Terra stuff going on with some cultists.
Yeah, there's like a random like store that's happening where there's these soldiers protecting this wall,
Yeah.
and what like the main guy is like, I feel fucking weird about this. Like sends a patrol, and the fucking helicopter gets shot down. Then the fucking people go down to like investigate.
Crazy stuff.
And of
But
course,
they're
crazy shit happens because cultists are nuts.
they're in the middle of a firefight. A giant wall is about to fall on the police, basically. Vulkan just appears, holds it up. Cool as fuck moment. All the people are like,
the
holy
picture
shit.
is really fucking cool too. There's a picture in the Kindle version.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up while you're talking.
He's just kind of holding the wall up, and he's fine. Like he's not like heavy breathing or anything. Like he's talking to people while he's doing it because he's Vulkan.
Hey guys, this is like a little heavy, but it's like not like super heavy.
He's like bragging about it. Yeah, I'd like typically lift around this most of the time. Like I've gone further. Like I'd say I could do like 10 reps.
Yeah, this is like my my warm up.
Yeah, that's so badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of these like all of these soldiers, they're able to, and the salamanders are there now, the 3 salamanders, they're able to kill all of the cultists. They're like, yeah, we got it. Just mows down like all the cultists. They get inside, of course, like the Imperial Fists are giving them some shit because they're the Imperial Fists. Vulkan leaves the salamanders and he's just like, stay out here. Like, help the people. Very salamander thing to do. Love that moment.
You have the reveal of Archimedes again. And Vulkan having met the original Archimedes, and he was like,
oh, that's a cool moment.
That you ain't Archimedes. And he's like, yeah, well, the fucker died, so I took his name. He's like, well,
oh, so you're Archimedes the Third. All right. So he goes and meets Rogel Dorn. What an interesting meeting. I would think it would be more like Vulkan goes in straight for a hug because that's Vulkan. And I love that about Vulkan. Dorn's more reserved.
I know you're not like a hugger, but like, bro, come here. And he's like, we awkwardly embrace. I'm like, oh yeah, that's hot.
Oh, yeah, awkwardly embrace.
Dicks on the outside, baby.
Dicks on the outside. Dicks on the inside. So they're talking, they're making their way. They have to go see the Emperor because the Emperor told Dorn, it's like, Vulkan's going to come here. I need to see him immediately. It's important to mention, too, the whole time throughout this book, Vulkan is being guided on this journey by a talisman he made while he was, like, unconscious.
Yeah.
And so he has an idea he's supposed to bring this talisman to the Emperor. So him and Dorn are talking, though, on the way up, and they have a really interesting conversation that I wish would have just gone a little bit further.
Yes. So Vulkan asked Dorn if he could kill one of his brothers. And Dorn's like, fuck yeah.
But he doesn't say that he already had.
Yeah, which is interesting.
It just says like the subtext is like Vulkan recognizes that he probably already like had that option, but it doesn't say that Vulkan knew that he did. I really, really wish Rogel Dorn would have been like, yeah, I killed Alfarius. To have Vulkan be like, damn.
Yeah, but instead, like, Vulkan's like, I had the chance, but I didn't do it. And Dorn was pissed at him.
Yeah, he was mad that he didn't kill Conrad.
Man, imagine if he actually told him it was Conrad, though. He'd be like, what the fuck, dude? Why didn't all of our brothers?
Yeah, like what a moment that would have been.
Fucking psychopath.
Like Rogel Dorn's #1 enemy. And like him and Vulkan both hated Comrade Kurtz. There were tons of stories about it. So it's like, if Vulkan would have told Dorn that it was Conrad Kurz, I feel like it would have been an
aneurysm
moment.
Right there.
Yeah. So that's just so straight. Like, I wish it would have delved just a little bit deeper. That would have been a really cool conversation.
Yeah.
Instead, we got a little bit of it, not as much as we wanted. But the conversation with the Emperor was like, whoa.
Oh, also, one thing before that, too. He asked if any of his other brothers were there, and he was like, the Khan's like dicking around, but he didn't mention like fucking Lehman.
Well, Lehman left.
Yeah, but like he could be like, yeah, like Lehman's been here, like he's alive.
Corax was here. Telling him that Corax is alive, that'd be nice because he was on his huge. Yeah, there's a lot of information that's not relayed to Vulkan that I wish it would have, because like there's so much good conversation to have between those two Primarchs now. And Vulkan could have been like,
Oh, also he could have been like,
Sanguinius
yeah, I was
is
about to say that
alive.
too. Sanguinius, the lion, Gilliman.
Now,
Now you might be like, look, I was a
technically,
little like a psychopath, and like, but like I think they're alive.
yeah, like I'm pretty. Last time I checked, like I was,
Curse is alive too. Don't
it was a
worry.
rough night. I was pretty fucking drunk, but I'm pretty sure I saw Sanguinius.
There was this big bird, man. It looked like Sanguinius.
There's so much good conversation. Like literally just saying that rolled over like, no shit. Oh my gosh. Like there's hope. Instead they were
There's a
like,
chance.
yeah, like it was a hug and then we just moved on our ways. Yeah, so much like missing out there. I hope it's not because the book was too long. I would have read it. Like make the book 10 more pages. I would have read 10 pages of them talking about what the fuck's been going on.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see the con too, like to actually see them. That would have been
Yeah, like,
sweet.
so I would rather like things like that than read about fucking Horus absorbing a blow from a Titan.
Yeah. I would rather read about that than like half the shit we get, like them fighting a galaxy wide wall. Like, I don't give a fuck about
Or
that.
like 95% of space battles. Like, give me some fucking plot.
Some conversation between, like, yeah, like when you see two people that have been separated by a war that they're both fighting, you'd think like there'd be some crazy conversation there.
Yeah, I mean, think about like there's so many people that have like war stories that like were in the military.
Especially when it's pertinent to the war to win.
Yeah.
By the way, like we have legions that are still alive, trapped
Yeah,
out
it's not
in this
reminiscing.
area.
It's like, dude, I've seen some crazy fucking shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Fulgrim, dude, he took one of Manus's fingers. And you're not gonna believe where that went.
Yeah, like you never even get the con saying that shit, you know?
Yeah.
You never get the con talking about Mortarion, where he's like, oh yeah, Mortarion's having like third thoughts. He's being such a bitch.
He might come back.
He might come back, yeah. If we were just like, hey, Mortarion, we still don't like psychers, Mortarion might be like, okay, I'm sorry.
Cool, because these guys are fucking weird, man. Like, I don't like psychers,
so
but like I'm surrounded by like weirder shit than psychers right now.
Magnus is on my team. What the fuck?
And Fulgrim turned into a snake. I don't know what the fuck's up with that.
Like, oh my gosh. So yeah, so much lacking conversation. We do get a conversation though between Vulkan and the Emperor, where it's revealed that Vulkan's entire purpose of existence is simply to create this device that blows up Terra.
Yeah. I don't even understand what the like what is required for that to happen.
So basically,
is it just the
like,
Emperor dying?
Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's like the Emperor dying, Golden Throne mechanism.
Well, like it talks about
Terra.
like if we ever like lose Terra, like in today's 40K, if the Emperor died, like would Terra be gone?
Yeah. Yeah, it would blow up. It's still there.
No, I understand. Like, but like it wouldn't have been like taken over. Like Horus wouldn't just be like, ha, Terra's mine now. The old bag finally dropped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the point of this. It's supposed to be like a if I can't win, you can't mechanism.
That's so fucking.
That's the idea of Vulkan. That's like his purpose. Is it's like, okay.
And it literally tells him he came back to life for that reason.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I made you a perpetual because I needed you to make this and you die a lot.
And so do all your sons. I didn't mean for that to happen, but like they just keep dying.
You guys are phenomenal at dying. So I made sure you couldn't because I needed you to make me a piece of jewelry.
Which like begs the question, like, couldn't the Emperor just have made that himself?
I guess not. You know, I guess it is true that the Emperor made them. You know, he didn't make them from himself. Like he made them with the help of chaos god. So maybe there's extra shit in there. But yeah, I like this idea. Like if you think about it, how important is this? Insanely important because basically you make the game a draw.
Yeah, the Emperor can fucking like walk and some lightning will hit the ground and he can make a weapon that can kill perpetuals. So I have a feeling he could create a talisman to attach to his chair that he left a very particular shape in his chair for.
I I don't know. Listen, I
Look, it
don't
has
know
to
how
have
to make
7
it.
hammers.
I don't know how to make it, but I know what it's gonna look like. Jeez, that's a good point. It's a good point. Regardless, I mean, big plot hole there. I don't know why the Emperor just. I mean, he gets a Primarch out of it too, so why not?
I
2-for-1
guess.
deal. And he lives forever.
It
So
was bargain
whatever.
shopping that day.
Yeah. So I think like it's a cool moment because it basically reveals that everything's stacked against the Imperium. And if I was reading this without knowing shit, I'd be like, fuck, I think it's gonna be a draw.
Yeah.
So cool moment. Loved the book. That was the end of it. It's fucking phenomenal. 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, you have a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does this rank for you?
Man, I've been thinking really hard on this.
It's a tough one, man.
I
It's really
don't
fucking
know
good.
if it's top 5.
Get the fuck out of
But I
here. You are
don't.
such
It's
a
not past,
fanboy,
but
dude.
it's not under 6.
You're such a
Like the
fanboy. Get
furthest
the
I could
fuck
take it
out of
is
here.
6.
This is better than Path to Heaven.
I don't think so. I mean,
Fucking fight me.
I would. I'm probably between like, I think between this and maybe First Heretic. I'm trying to think.
This is better than First Heretic. First Heretic's very good. Fuck. It's definitely top 5 for me. I loved this book. Nick Kyme did a
I
great
could
job
honestly
writing
put
it.
it anywhere between like 3rd and 6th. I think.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is very good. It's one of those like, if I ever was to like reread any of the books, this would be one of the ones I reread.
Yeah, it's fun. It's Vulkan's story, and it's like one of those books that makes the Primarch more interesting. Like, they did shit with Vulkan, and they did a good job with it. Fulgrim got one. Magnus got one. The Khan got one. Here we have Vulkan get one, and it's just fucking great. Like, very well written.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a very rewarding trilogy of like his books.
Yes, I agree. Deathfire was rough to get through, but at the end of the day,
Vulkan Liz was really good. Deathfire seemed just like there was like problems that didn't need to exist. And then we got this, and it was just like
all came through.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So importance to heresy, like super important. Vulkan makes it back to Terra. The throne now has a self-destruct mechanism. Probably Shadrach Medusan's dead. The Cabal's dead. John Grammaticus has escaped. Narek is about to kill Lorgar, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be so awesome. I'd probably give it like a 7 or 8 importance to the heresy. That's a lot of stuff, but each one of them is kind of minor. You could get there, but the killing of the Cabal, Shadrach, you don't really worry about because you just don't reach Shadow Legions.
Yeah, if you didn't reach Shadow Legions, you don't know.
The killing of the Cabal is important. John Command is important. Vulkan being in Terra is important, and the fact that the entire game is a draw now.
Yeah, I mean, I even think just knowing about the like what Vulkan just put on the fucking throne is just by itself is super important because
super important.
Now you kind of have that point at 40K where you're like,
still
so
there.
if the Emperor dies, like, did we all fucking die?
I still
That's fucking crazy.
I still think it's a potential plot. Like, I would love to see something like that happen. Honestly, like, I can't wait to jump into like 40K lore, but I don't think it's as well fleshed out. And like, what a moment! What a cool, crazy fucking moment that would be if like Terra blows up.
That would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, Terra blows up, and like it's a reset. It's a game reset. Your Primarchs are back, but the Emperor is literally just a god now. He's not a skeleton anymore.
Oh, if it's perpetual, it'll just come back somewhere.
Somewhere, maybe, but there's always potential for that, right?
Yeah.
You got to sell a model. The Emperor, 17,000 points.
Also, like $17,000.
That's true. Yep. So great book. Really enjoyed it.
Yep. Big fan. Next week we will be previewing Legacies of Betrayal, right?
Legacies. No. Burden of Loyalty.
Burden of Loyalty. Legacies of Betrayal we already read, I think.
Yes. Burden of loyalty.
Of loyalty.
Been rough so far. Not looking forward to the rest of it.
Bought it yesterday. I might read a chapter tonight.
There you go. You can get through the first short story is like 50 pages.
That's not happening tonight then. I always thought like I was a decent reader, but I'm slow as fuck. Like 30 pages probably takes me between like 30 minutes to an hour sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about the same way.
I feel like that's slow as fuck.
Maybe. There's a lot of people that speed read, but I can't speed read, and I also question people who say they can speed read.
Yeah, because like if like I start like zoning off too, like I'll like, well fuck, I have to reread that because like that might have been a plot point that I just missed. And we actually also have to talk about this book, so I can't just like bullshit.
Yep, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So that'll be next week. As always, hit us up on the Discord. You can find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. You can check out our merch that will be in the show notes for the link. We're on YouTube. Go over there, watch a video, like, subscribe, leave a comment. That's everything.
I think that's it.
That's it, guys. Hopefully you have a good weekend. We'll be back next week. Have a good one.